Let's go to the seller now. So we'll do like a net sheet example. So this would be, you have a listing presentation coming up. You wanted to have something nice where you'll show a seller client if they decide to sell at a certain purchase or sorry, list price, how much would they walk away with, accounting for escrow fees, title fees, compensation, etc. So similarly for this one, there's just a few inputs you need. So you need at least a sales price. So let's say I'll come in here and I'll say maybe I'm selling a condo in Long Beach. So maybe I've done some sales comps. I think this property is worth $625,000. So I'll just put that in here. Uh, this one, the main things that I would change would be the seller broker fee, buyer broker fee if needed, any repairs that are needed. Maybe you've done some work ahead of time, and then a seller loan balance. So that way they can see, obviously, they need to pay out those outstanding debts. And after they've done that, what can they really walk away with? A couple of things that are useful here is adding an address. So I really recommend doing that first because it will help you find the most recently recorded loan on a property, and then it'll help you calculate how much is remaining on that loan. So what I can do is click add address again at the top left of the screen. I'll enter in a property address. I'll do a condo this time just to show you. It will find the condos for you too in terms of the unit numbers. So I'll click apartment 7, hit done. And now it'll find the most recently recorded loan on that property. So this is super helpful. If you're just on the fly, really need to create a net sheet quick. It'll show the estimated annual property tax this person is paying first, but here is where that loan will be found for you. So right now it says for this property here, it found a loan recorded in January 2021 for $454,000. So now to help you try to find how much is remaining on that loan, and all you really need to do is enter in an interest rate. And the nice part is it will find the average interest rate at the time the loan was created. So in this case, that's January 2021. And the average interest rate at the time was 2.915%. I'll just put in 3 and round it, hit compute. And now it found, based off that original loan amount, based off the interest rate of that loan, estimated that they have 418,000 remaining on this loan. So I can just press use estimate. That'll plug it right into the net sheet for me. I do want to mention though, is let's say you have a case where you're working with a seller and you know for sure they have more than one loan on a property. It's not going to find all of those loans. So in those cases, you can always reach out to me as a title rep and I can get a nice property profile for you and help you calculate how much is remaining on that particular property, especially with multiple loans. It can get a little tricky with these. But for a lot of cases where someone has just, one loan on a property, it's super helpful just to create these net sheets. Okay, so now going to the seller and buyer broker fee, and I did forget to mention this for for the buyer monthly payment estimate, is you can change how this is being called in your app. So let's say I didn't like seller broker fee, I can click that and it could be seller concessions, broker fee, finder's fee, etc. The same with the buyer broker fee, I can change that. So I'll say in this case it's 2.5 on both sides, and I'll start with the buyer broker fee being split between the buyer and seller. I have that city transfer tax I can choose from. In this case, the property's in Long Beach. I don't see Long Beach in here, so I don't need to select it. So it does have, for LA County, all of the cities that have that transfer tax. Now I'll just hit compute, and now I have the net at close amount. So basically, I can show somebody if you listed your property at $625,000 and you sold it for that and you accounted for escrow fees, title fees, compensation, etc., this is what you'd walk away with. So same thing, I can put my finger on it, just text, email it really quick if I just hold my finger down on the circle itself. And same thing, we'll kind of take a look at how these new agent compensation rules, whether it's buyer, seller, or splitting, how that impacts those closing costs. So that would once again be a part of that orange box closing costs, so that $29,000. So I'll go to detailed closing costs, and now I see at the bottom that buyer broker fee, seller broker fee, so I can really easily show somebody right then and there what that cost would be. Once again, I can edit any of these at the top right. If I needed to remove these, like the notary fee, I could do the same thing. I'll go back. So now let's show whether it is, I'll say seller. Let's say seller's paying all of the compensation. So now that closing costs will be changed. I'll go to detailed closing costs. Now we'll see the difference there. Let's go back to seller. We'll say buyer pays everything. Now in this case, closing costs are going to go down. If I go to detailed closing costs, I no longer see buyer broker fee at all. So let me go back to split to the original. And same thing, I can go to that share button at the top right of the screen. I can go to send full report. This is going to generate a nice estimate for me, which has those different template options. I can have in different languages. I could even change the color too. So let's say I didn't like this specific color. Maybe I needed like the KW color, the Sotheby's color, Remax color, whatever it may be. I can click customize, color options. I can change the look of this estimate. I need to change it back to English in this case. So I'll go customize, language, English. And mechanically, the buyer monthly payment estimate and seller net sheet are very similar. So you have that ability to choose the different templates. You can share this really easily. So I can click the share button at the top right. I can text it to my clients. Maybe I'll be, meeting them tomorrow and I just want them to have it. I can email it, put it as a nice part of a package. And just to mention, we do have the ability to help you with VIP property profiles. These would be nice booklets that we can send to your office same day or next day, depending on when they get them going. It'll have sales comps, title information, everything you might need for a listing presentation. But this is a really nice piece to include in that too. So you can create that net sheet based off what you think that property is worth and include that in that package and just slip it in the nice little binded book that we give you. So that was just a quick little seller net sheet. A couple of other cool ones that you can use with your listing presentations or just listings in general that we'll go over for the seller. The first will be just like a really nice multiple offer calculator. So let's say you have this listing, you want to be able to show your client based off the breakdown between these two offers, how much they would net for these two offers. So once you've created a net sheet, you can actually see where it says multiple offers towards the top left of the screen. I can click that here, multiple offers. Another way you can get to multiple offers is just by clicking calculators. Like let's say you don't want to have to create a net sheet first and you just wanted to plug in multiple offers. I can go to calculators at the bottom of the screen and then multiple offers right here. I can just come in here to multiple offers, but I'll just go back to that net sheet. So I'll click multiple offers at the top left of the screen. So what this will allow you to do is enter in as many offers as you want, really. I've tried to like add 30, 40, 50 offers and it kept letting me add them. So you really can handle a lot of offers here. So what you'll do is you'll enter in an offer price. So I'll say 640,000. Let's say this person offered $15,000 over asking. Maybe they offered 20% down. Their offer is John Doe or the buyer agent name. They put down $30,000 for their earnest money. That's the home warranty amount they asked for. The buyer broker fee, it's 2.5%. And we'll say they're saying the seller will pay all of it. They can add an escalation clause too. So let's say they said, they'll offer up to $650,000 or, $1,000 over the next highest offer up to that amount. You can keep track of contingencies too. So let's say 7-day inspection and maybe they said 14-day appraisal. And then I can add notes too. So I'll click add offer just to add this one. I can click add new offer. Maybe they're offering a purchase price of 635, so a little bit less. Down payment, I'll say 20%. Jane Doe as the buyer agent, I'll say earnest money of 35,000. And in this case, I'll say they're going to split the compensation between the buyer and the seller. I'll say 7-day inspection and maybe no appraisal. I'll hit done, add offer. Now I have these two offers. Like I said, and in this case, I'll just go with these two. So I'll click the share button once again at the top right. Anytime you create a calculator in this app, pay attention to that share button. It's there for every calculator and it'll create a really nice template for you. So I'll click send full report. So now this will show the two offers. It'll show the notes that I added to the different contingencies, and then it'll show the net at close amounts for those two offers based off the term of those offers. And that'll obviously include the escrow fees, the title fees, needing to pay off that loan, etc. So it will show the difference, obviously. So in this case, it'll show these two different net at close amounts. And in this case, it kind of shows where that ability to track the different buyer or buyer representative compensation amount is really helpful. Where in this case, you have one offer that's actually coming in at $640,000. So a little bit higher than that other one at 635, but obviously you're able to net more close of escrow because in offer two, that buyer is helping with half of the portion of the buyer compensation. So it makes it really easy to track these. And let's say you had 6 of these offers, it would show 3 on a page, show you 2 pages of those offers. So kind of a nice little package that you can share. Once again, hit the share button, text, email it, etc. Canmu said, can these details be saved per transaction so that the next day one would not need to recreate? I'm assuming, are you saying like for like a seller net sheet, could I save a specific net sheet itself and then just kind of go back to it? You can. So let me go to the full template. Oh, here it is. Okay. So once you create the estimate, so like net at close, this is where I'm at right now. If you click the share button at the top right of the screen and then go to save estimate right there at the bottom. So you can name the property address. You can even have folders in those saved estimates. So let's say you wanted to like break it up by clients. And then how you would find those would be clicking the very top left, those 4 lines, kind of how we went to edit the account. If you click that and then go to estimates, kind of towards the bottom, and then you have these. So I think I just did this one, the seller conventional estimate. So I can click on that. It'll take you right back to it. Good question. Thank you. Okay, so we just did the multiple offer calculator. Another cool one, really quick, I'll show you is holding costs. So let's say you're like working with a seller. Actually, before we do that one, let me show the other one. I'll show the kind of the counterpart to that one we use for the buyer, where if you shake your phone or turn it to the side. So I'll turn my phone to the side now. It gives you a pretty similar one where you can show a seller client a situation where how an increase or decrease in the purchase price of that property, how that will increase the net at close amount. So let's say maybe I'm trying to show the benefit of maybe listing a little bit lower as a seller and then letting the market kind of bring in multiple offers, raise the price up a bit. So I'll just show increasing amounts of 25,000. So now once again, I have this information. So I have the sales price starting at 625. Maybe that's on the low end. And then I'm trying to show them, look, we can really get this thing bid up to $675,000. And that'll, be a difference of $50,000. And I think in this one, you can only show the net at close amount, not the differences like that monthly payment one. But I can click the share button at the top right again. Same thing, it's going to give me this information. So I have it, nice little flyer that I can once again just click the share button and text or email it to people. And then the other one that's cool is holding costs. So based off of a property and the taxes they might have and utilities, it'll show someone how long it'll actually cost to keep holding that property. So let's say you're meeting with a seller and maybe they want to price it really high and you think it's way higher than it's going to actually sell for, and it might take a lot of price reductions and might take a lot of time on the market. You can show someone the actual cost of holding on to their property. So this is just based off the initial information, but you can even add more expenses. So I could be sitting down with them and they can maybe have an HOA amount of $300 a month, and maybe their monthly utilities are $650. I can add other monthly expenses. Maybe they're paying, a gardener or whatever it may be. Now I can show somebody the cost of actually overpricing their property. So I can break it up by a 60-day period, 90-day period. I can show months instead of days if I wanted to, and show those costs. And same thing, like I said, every calculator is going to have that share button at the top right. And now I have that flyer. So this app can help you a ton if you're just looking for nice little pieces you can add to listing presentations, kind of showing the value that you can provide as an agent, just really good information that would help clients in a lot of different scenarios that they might not be aware of. Any questions? So I know we've kind of covered a decent amount, and Vincent said, yep, I am recording this. So thanks for coming, Vincent. Great seeing you as always. And I'll email it out a link, and hopefully I think I'll be able to break it up so it'll make it easy. But thank you, Vincent. Thanks for tuning in. Questions. So we're kind of at 11:42. I wanted to leave it open for questions if people have any. I will kind of talk briefly about some other good calculators if no one has any questions, and I can talk about other Fidelity Agent features too. And while I wait, give some space for questions. I'll kind of show, let's see. I'll put this in the chat. I think people are seeing my YouTube channel right now. I'll find the link and share it with people, but I do have a full playlist and videos on this too. I'll put a link to this in the chat so you can see it. I upload these pretty often. I would say like once a week. But it's not always Fidelity Agent One. We have a bunch of other resources, and I'll be doing these Zoom classes consistently too. So that's in the chat now. So if you could check those out, feel free to, always leave comments, feedback. It's much appreciated. So if no one has questions, I'll just kind of do a couple of quick calculators to end it for today. Thanks for coming in, Mary. I appreciate it.